Recording. Woo! All right. So our agenda today is we're going to start by getting you into the mindset to start looking at these opportunities through an exercise called a skills gap analysis. And then once we do that, I'm going to share with you some really great resources for volunteering remotely. And finding suitable internships, as well as applying for the Department of State Federal Virtual Student Foreign Service Program. And the deadline for this program is actually July 30th, so time is of the essence with this particular experience. But last but not least, I'll also share with you some great ideas on how you can get some experience through some not so standard methods, okay? So before we can dive into how to get these opportunities to gain tech skills, you must first do some research into what skills are needed for the career that you hope to get into once you complete your degree here at Ivy Tech. So one easy way to do that is to go to a job website like Indeed and search for a current open entry-level position in your career of choice. A best practice would be to do this for 2 to 4 interesting positions, just so you get that the variety. So in this example, I actually searched for IT support because that is pretty prominent right now. You're not going to see a lot of entry-level cybersecurity or network or software development positions at this moment, because there are a lot of companies that are on a hiring freeze until they can figure out what's going on with COVID and their budgets. So even if you're not in IT support, please consider looking into this, because there is a need for Tier 1 help desk technicians. So what you're doing here is, looking at a couple of those job descriptions, and you're going to be determining common examples of tech skills across those job descriptions. So if you want to take 5 minutes real quick to go to Indeed and, search for that key term that you're looking to get into, either IT tech to be more generic, or you can get more specific by saying cybersecurity. And then over here on the filters, you can filter it out by entry level, so you're getting that entry level, those entry level positions coming back in your search results. Does anybody have any questions on that?
No.
No.
Okay. And you can adjust those filters as needed. So I'll just go ahead and I'll do this with you. I'm going to look for intern, just very generic, not even IT intern, just to see what pops up. And as you're coming across some of those key skills, feel free to shout them out or write them in the chat group so we can talk about them together. So like I just found this one, even though it's 20 days old, but it's for a computer technician. And they're looking for virus removal, data recovery, and backup. So these are things that I don't have experience in. So either on your piece of paper or on your spreadsheet or your Word doc, you can go ahead and create like a table where you list the skills in one column, and then you kind of grade yourself on that skill. Current state is where you feel like you are right now. And a lot of people do a 1 to 10 scale, 10 being like expert and 1 being a plebe or an amateur, and then your desired state. So if you just want to know a little bit of Java, you would say your desired state would be like a 6. And if you're currently at a 4, then your gap is 2. So you kind of figure out there. This helps you prioritize which skills you're going to work on first. And you can kind of start sparking some ideas for you to gain those skills, which would then be in the initiatives column. I hope that makes sense. And this is, of course, an exercise that can take, several hours, especially if you really want to dig into it and work the skills gap analysis in tandem with what you're doing in school. But for the purpose of this presentation, I just wanted to do it really quick for you so you can see how it works. So does anybody have any skills that they're noticing? There is no spreadsheet. I can create one for you, but basically you can create it yourself, either on paper, in a Word document, or in Excel. You just need to make sure that you have these 5 columns, maybe even a spot for notes as well. And if you really want me to, I can create the spreadsheet for you and send it out with that email, the post-event email. I'm more than happy to do that. All right, who wants to share some skills that they feel like they need to work on? Anybody? Java. Yeah. I'm going to wait for one more and then I'll move on.
Everything related to hardware, I'm still kind of bad on.
Okay.
The specifics and the optimization.
Right. So what I would recommend for you to, because that's a generic category, just hardware, is really break that down and try to figure out, do you want to work more with motherboards first? Because, you're going to be doing this stuff while going to school, while working, while living your life. So the prioritization of these things are going to be really important for you.
Mine would probably be SQL still.
Right. So you're writing these things down. These are the skills that you're looking to improve or learn, and these are the things that you should be looking for in virtual volunteering, the VSFS program, and internships, right? So I can't stress this enough, but writing down your skills gap analysis and creating a SMART goal from that is the #1 method to actually following through on those goals. And your chance of success is greatly increased when you just simply write them down. The SMART goals, they give you the criteria and the infrastructure to complete your goals. If you haven't heard about this concept, SMART goals means that they're specific with measurable outcomes, that you are actually able to finish them or, attain that goal, that they're relevant to you in your career, and that they have a set deadline of completion. And you might be overwhelmed or excited about all the things that you want to learn. So like I said earlier, prioritization is key. And from those, I apologize, sorry. So you're forming these goals in tandem with your academics and your lifestyle, because you don't want to overload yourself. And figuring out where the wiggle room is for your schedule to figure out how to do these little either micro internships or volunteer opportunities is really going to be beneficial to you in the long run. There will be some compromise. So for example, I'm currently self-teaching myself Salesforce, and I'm taking 2 hours every other day to do that. I've blocked off my calendar specifically and talked with my family about using those 2 hours for, professional development. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay. We're going to go ahead and move into this great resource that I found about volunteering virtually. And if you've ever looked this up or even thought about it, there are a lot of opportunities online to volunteer. Of course, everybody wants free labor, especially our nonprofit friends. However, VolunteerMatch.org has specifically set aside a bunch of opportunities that can be done virtually, which means no matter where it's at in the world, you still have the opportunity to provide that service to that nonprofit. So if you feel like doing this right now, we can go through the website, or I can just really quickly go through all the things that you can do. But on their main page, volunteermatch.org, you'll see kind of small, the orange letters, virtual opportunities. And once you click on that, and I'll do that for you right now, you'll be able to see right here. Can you see the web page?
Yeah.
Okay. You'll be able to see right here that there's almost 1 million volunteers needed for these virtual volunteer opportunities. And you'll see that, on the left-hand side, there are ongoing opportunities, which really don't have a start or end date. And then the right side is dated opportunities for, things that are within a time frame. The best part about this website, though, is that up here you have the ability to really drill down into specific areas, and computers and technology is, probably where you'd want to go, right? And so this takes some time, going through everything, but really, thinking about that skills gap analysis that you just did, going through these opportunities and seeing where the need is. So if you happen to come across an opportunity that they need somebody to develop Java, that would probably be something that you'd want to apply to. And of course, volunteering is unpaid, but because we can't guarantee you of getting paid experience with internships or with entry-level jobs, this is the compromise that I was talking about earlier. These experiences will pay off for you greatly once they are on your resume and you are applying for those entry-level positions that say they need 1 to 2 years of experience, or any of the other many things that entry-level job descriptions say that we obviously don't have as students and recent grads from a program at Ivy Tech. There's some other volunteering resources here locally and nationwide. The 3 that I would love for you to research some more is Code Black Indy. Specifically, they look for volunteers to help teach underserved segments of our population here in Indy. A lot of immigrants and migrants to Indianapolis are taking these classes, and so they love to have students. They provide training to you as well, and I do believe that they provide you with a stipend. $20 an hour, which only comes like once a month, so it's not like a job per se, but it does pay a bit. Indie Women in Tech is another organization that often seeks out mentors for their women. So if you check out their website, they do have a lot of different opportunities to volunteer, for like some of their events and things like that. And Indie Hub is the huge Indianapolis volunteer platform. So that runs the gamut from, building a house for Habitat for Humanity to building a website for a church, things like that. And then UN Volunteers, AARP, and Points of Light all provide services nationwide and internationally. Like the AARP is looking for volunteers to help teach old folks how to use a computer. So that can also build up those soft skills of customer service and empathy and dealing with the public while providing IT training. All right, we're moving right along. Any questions on that resource?
No.
Okay, thank you for answering me. I appreciate that.
I have a question.
Yes, dear.
Do we need a resume for the volunteer?
It depends on the nonprofit. I would say yes, a resume and a cover letter, just because you want to not only get that practice in, but it also tells your story a bit more comprehensively when you give that, when you submit that to the nonprofit, and then they can reach out to you with that contact information that you have provided on.
Okay, thank you.
On your resume, and they have a little bit more a better understanding of what you know and what you're bringing. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And so if we're cool, we're going to move into the virtual student foreign service, the piece de la résistance of this presentation. So you might be asking, what is it? This is a program that's put together by the federal government, the Department of State. It's an 8-month remote internship program that starts in September and ends in May. Right at this moment, it's only for US citizens, which I hope that they will do something about in the next, who knows, not under this current administration, I'm sure, but I digress. The projects are always unclassified, so you'll never be dealing with information that is classified or, CIA, FBI type stuff. And unfortunately, these are unpaid, but again, that's the compromise with getting it onto your resume and saying that you worked for a department in the federal government on a project. Students that get accepted into these programs, they report to their mentor at the Department of State or other federal agencies virtually. And they only ask for 10 hours a week for those 8 months. Currently, there are 660 projects listed, and each one of them are asking for multiple candidates. So they're saying there's like well over 1,200 positions available. And the projects are coming from federal departments like the CIA, the Department of Defense, NASA, you name it. Several of these projects are seeking help with coding, data analysis, graphic design, software development, digital marketing, web design, and technical research. So this is right up our alley, right? So you're probably wondering what kind of projects are there. So if you want to really quick navigate to this website, vsfs.state.gov, you'll be able to see the full list of the projects there. You can also filter it by skills. So if you're looking for Java, you can go ahead. Oh, kitty. You can go ahead and put in Java to see if anything pops up for that. Or like I said, you might want to get a little bit more generic and just put in programming or software or something like that, if that makes sense. So for like this example, I put in data visualization, and you'll see that I got a visualization here for, I'm sorry. That I got, my very first hit was a visualization of diverse careers in cybersecurity. They're looking for 2 interns. They're talking about the skills that they're looking for. But once you move on to the actual job description of it, it doesn't say that they're requiring those skills. They want you to at least be interested in those skills. So this is a great way, even if you don't have any experience in data visualization, but you are really passionate about it or really interested in it, this is a great way for you to get that experience. This, again, will take a lot of time to do the research. The program only allows you to apply for 3 projects. So once you go through the website and you figure out what projects you want, you are then asked to go to the official USA Jobs.gov page. And this is just a great website to have on your, your bookmark and your bookmarks anyway, because they post so many government jobs that are open to the public, especially for cybersecurity students. This is a great way to research some of those security clearances that are so prominent in that industry. But for this purpose, when you do go to apply, you just type in VSFS into the search bar, and this generic job posting pops up. Is everybody okay with navigating this system so far?
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. It's pretty
Yes.
self-explanatory. But this is where it gets a little muddy. So the job descriptions on usajobs.gov is kind of lengthy, but it's packed full of all the information that you need to know to fully understand the process. So once you have all of your documents together, which we'll go over here shortly, and a full understanding of the internship program, you'll just click apply, and that will start the application process for you. So the website has an embedded resume builder that you'll need to complete. And along with your resume and the online application, they'll want you to provide a statement of interest and unofficial or official transcripts. I'll get to the statement in a moment, but as for your transcripts, they can, like I said, be official or unofficial. Unofficial is free. You can just get them off of your MyIV account. And if you need access or a how-to on how to get those from your MyIV account, we can talk about that after I'm done talking about all this. But if you are a new student, you have no transcripts, you can always upload your current or fall class schedule as well. They just need proof that you are in class. And they have said that they do not take recommendation letters, and they will not be considered, and they should not be attached. So a statement of interest is similar to a cover letter, and this is a chance for you to differentiate yourself from the competition, really. You are limited to 20 2,500 characters, so you have to make it punchy. This is slightly more than what's allowed on your LinkedIn profile summary. So your statement of interest just needs to be why you're interested in that position or that project, why you as a person fit that role, and what skills you wish to gain from doing that project. And especially if you can connect the experience to your future career goals. Employers, recruiters, they eat that stuff up. Don't attach any references. They will not accept those. Any questions on that?
Nope, not yet.
No.
All right. So for the entire month of August, the project mentors will be reviewing the application packets, and they will reach out to the candidates as they go through them and pick the best candidates. So if you don't hear anything by September 1st, you probably weren't selected, but you'll get notified either way within that August to September timeframe. So projects start immediately. So be prepared to set aside those 10 hours a week to devote to the project starting the first week of September. And again, I'll reiterate that this open application period is over on July 30th. So you have a couple of weeks to get, to figure everything out and get those applications in. Personally, I think the best part of this experience is that if you are selected for a program and you successfully complete that project, the Department of State allows you to use that work in your professional portfolio. And all they ask is that you credit the program and the office for which the work was done. And not only that, if you find that you love working in government, you will have the upper hand for traditional internships with government agencies. While it's not a recruiting tool per se, it does allow you to gain valuable insight and experience into working in a government setting. And then you also have that networking aspect with your mentor. You have, somebody that's inside that can, vouch for you. So with that, I know it could be pretty daunting. There's 660, projects to go through. More than happy to work with, you individually on figuring out what would be a good fit for you, and even reviewing your statement letter to make sure that it aligns with what your career goals are and to make sure that it's primo for the application process. Okay. And now I'm going to segue into the work and learn experience, which is the new buzzword for internships, basically. Anything that gets you in person or virtual hands-on experience within your program of study. So going forward, you'll see a lot of communication coming from Ivy Tech and the Career Coaching and Employer Connections Office centered around the work and learn opportunity. So just keep that in the back of your head that we mean internships, job shadows, things like that, where you are working directly with an employer. Okay?
Okay.
If you have not ever been to IndianaIntern.net, I highly recommend that you go there. They have really upped their game in the last year to get as many Indiana employers on board with posting their internships on this site. It is free to you as a student. All you have to do is, create an account, and you can even look for internships before you create an account. And if you are available or eligible for financial aid, they also have an Indiana Earn program, which helps the employer pay for your salary. So it's kind of a convoluted process, but at the same time, it does get you paid as opposed to just giving out free labor, right? So a couple of things to note when you're on this website, IndianaIntern.net, you will see these jobs posted in a nice, very clean method on their website. I also import the new positions that are posted on IndianaIntern.net every week into Hire Ivy. So if you don't feel like going to multiple websites every week to week, you can always review these jobs as well on Hire Ivy. So when you're looking at this job, the specific job, you'll see a couple of things that I've noted here, like that Earn Indiana badge means that they will only hire somebody that is eligible for that Earn Indiana program, which means that you have to be financial aid eligible. And because what they essentially do is use your financial aid dollars to offset wages. You'll also want to look at the category. Usually, if it is directly within IT, it will say information technology, but sometimes employers have a hard time categorizing themselves. So just make sure that you're looking at the job title as well to make sure that it coincides with your IT expectations. You also want to look at the review date because sometimes employers do not update regularly. So you may find the perfect internship, but find that it's 3 months old or it's a year into the future. And you want to make sure that you're finding the right term to do your internship in as well. Where is another area that you want to look at. You want to make sure that the location is near to you or it says remote. And even if it doesn't say remote, you can always reach out to that employer and be like, hey, I'm really interested in this position, but I live in Indy. Since it's IT, I think I can do it remotely. Is there any way that we can work something out? It never hurts to ask, right? What's the worst they can do? Say no. And then you also want to look at that bottom line, the paid full-time, part-time line. This will be grayed out if it's unpaid. And these two will be grayed out if they're not full-time or part-time. But like for this one, for example, they seem to be pretty flexible and they're paying. So if you live by Argos, you may want to hook it up. And that was the IndianaIntern.net in a very succinct, shell. So does anybody have any questions about IndianaIntern.net?
No.
Okay. I will also add that as I am talking to employers, one-on-one and personally, we're trying to figure out other ways of getting you experience with local employers, either virtually or in person in the coming semester. And as those come to fruition, you will be receiving emails from me, and those opportunities will be posted on Hire Ivy as well. And if you're not receiving my weekly emails, they get sent out every Monday automatically, Monday mornings, that have all the new jobs and workshops and career fairs that are upcoming. Please let me know, and I'll make sure that you are on that list, okay? So what we covered is pretty standard stuff. You can volunteer, you can intern to get experience, but there's some other things that you can do on your own that can give you that experience that employers really eat up. So these are some of the things I want you to consider, especially when you're writing your resume. A lot of students that I've dealt with, worked with in the past have said, I don't have any IT experience. How am I ever going to get a job? The thing is that in your classes, there are projects embedded into those classes that teach you those real world IT skills. So all you need to do is really reflect and think back, and going forward, when you go through these classes, make sure that you're documenting all the work that you've done in your classes. A lot of our students will put their stuff up on GitHub and just have their GitHub URL in their header of their resume, because it's basically a portfolio of any of the coding work you've done or website work that you've done. There's also IT events all around town, internationally, virtually, especially hackathons and meetups. And when I send out that PDF, there'll be a link on there that will where you can go to find all the different places online where you can find like-minded people that meet up once a month, every couple of weeks. And those hackathons aren't necessarily for cybersecurity students. That's just what we call, I guess in the industry now, anytime you get together for a 24 to 48 hour period of time with a group of people to come up with a product very quickly and using Agile. Another thing that you might want to consider is building your own home lab. We have one recent graduate, Joey, who basically landed his internship and subsequent job at Genesis because of his passion for network infrastructure outside of class. He built his own Cisco lab at home, and during his interview, he talked at length about it, and that showed that he was very passionate about it. The employer, after the fact, was blown away, totally just gushing over him, and he got an internship, and within 2 months he transitioned into a full-time position, making close to 70 grand. So that's pretty good, right? So just think about,
Wow.
yeah, just think about some of the ways that you can showcase your passion for IT outside of, the spectrum of your academic classes. If you're into coding, create apps. If you're into website development, create websites. And these are, this can all work in tandem with volunteering for a church or a nonprofit, or, doing one of those virtual foreign services projects. Other things that you might have been scared to do or not even thought of is grouping up with your peers in class or your friends and creating that student-led enterprise. You have a lot of great resources in your faculty, like Zach Hamby, who are more than happy to be like a consultant for you to talk you through some of these things. And we also just introduced, and I'm sure you received the email that I sent out earlier this morning, there's a new certificate that's coming out. We're partnering with the School of Business, of a techpreneur certificate. So it teaches you, there's 6 courses that teach you the fundamentals of creating a business plan, of getting funding, all that jazz, to really, lift your tech product off the ground. So these are just, talk to your friends, talk to your classmates, see if, what kind of ideas are out there. A lot of you are entrepreneurial. And I think that if you, got together, put your heads together, you can make really great products and make some money doing it and get that experience. Some other things that you might want to look into are simulations. This is something I just started getting into, but there are, some VR simulations on building PCs. There's also some non-VR simulations as well. And I will give you all of these resources in that PDF that I'm going to send out afterwards. But like Layer 7 DDoS is for cybersecurity. These are all like free or very low cost ways to get hands-on real experience. Does anybody have any ideas like swimming around already?
Oh, I took a ITSP 135 where we simulated mounting and repairing computers from
Yeah.
starting. So it was fun.
Yeah. And another thing that you might want to consider too, especially with ITSP 135, we don't have a lot of physical components, especially now in COVID, where we're all going to be virtual this upcoming semester. If you go to Goodwill or, look on Craigslist, buy some janky old computer, tear it apart, build it back up, try to make it work. These are all things that you can talk about in an interview and a cover letter. And, and this really resonates with employers and recruiters because when your face lights up about talking about something that you personally invested in, they can see that, they can sense that, they can translate that into being a good employee for their company, right?
That's true. Thank you.
Yeah. So I just wanted to briefly touch on how this would look on your resume. And here are a couple of ways that could be articulated into the written word. Like if you do create a home lab, you can put the date range on it. It looks just like what you would put if you had work experience on there. Yeah, like I was a cashier at Walmart for May 2019 to the current. But you're also listing all the things that you learned by, building that home lab. If you volunteer, you just want, you want to make sure that you talk about exactly what you did in that volunteer capacity. And another example here is for like if you do a hackathon, explaining exactly what happened, like you were on a team, an agile team of 10 people, and these are all the, the languages you learned, or used, the platforms you used, what the outcomes were, and, even having a direct link to that project to show the employer, your final project. So these are all things that will definitely put you in the ring with your competition when it comes to landing those entry-level jobs and internships. You have to remember also Ivy Tech is a 2-year school, and we are in direct competition with the 4-year programs at IUPUI and Butler and Ball State and Purdue. So while on my end, on the back end, we're trying to talk to employers about considering Ivy Tech, we have a great pool of students and candidates in our IT programs. That is a long process of changing that culture around the the community college stigma or whatever. And we're doing it, but you also need to show that you have the technical chops and the passion through the work that you do outside of your classroom and through experiences like these. So I went super quick on this. I had expected to be done at 12:50 to leave room for questions, but I can open it up now to discussion. Any questions or any kind of concerns related to this or otherwise? You have me and Drew on the line. We're here to help you with your IT career planning. Oh, before I forget, if you don't know me or you don't, if you're not connected with me on LinkedIn, you should do that.
I'm putting my own LinkedIn address in the chat box.
Thank you.
Nice performance. About the home labs,
Right.
like what exactly are we able to do at home, and what can we focus on, and what looks good for employers?
Right. So like that example I gave of Joey, he set up his own Cisco networking rack basically. But there are a couple of resources that I will share with you. One of them being Reddit. There's a subreddit called Home Lab. And I think there's over 15,000 people that contribute to that community. They all, you know, talk about their labs, what they
Yeah, I
did.
follow it. It's just, it's so, I don't understand a lot of it, and it's just
Right.
intimidating.
Well, and I think that's where a lot of people start, is that they don't know where to start. It is intimidating, but I would, I can send you a couple of links to starting a home lab from scratch, you know, no experience whatsoever, and building up on that. The whole purpose of a home lab is that you learn by trial and error. Employers want to see that grit, that tenacity, that resilience, more so than the actual technical skills, is from what I'm hearing. I mean, I was just on a call yesterday with Genesis, where they said that a lot of our students that are interviewing are failing the technical part because they completely break down. They can't even think about the thought process of problem solving. That's all they want to see, is the problem solving. They don't expect you to know the answers, just like what method you would go through to troubleshoot an issue and to reach a solution. So these are, like, getting a home lab set up will help give you confidence in doing that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, even if you don't know what the hell you're doing, frankly, just starting somewhere is better than not.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. And I will, I'll make sure to send out those additional home lab links, resources for you as well, okay?
Thank you.
No problem. If you guys can hang around, or you feel free to go, I will, if you all RSVP'd via Hire Ivy, I will be sending out that email this afternoon with the recording, the survey, the PDF, and the slide deck, okay?
Yeah, I have one question though.
Of course.
Yeah, concerning the resume. I mean, I'm wondering if we can send you what we did for you to review it, and
Of course. Yeah, me and Drew both review your resumes. If you put them, you can either send them directly to us at our Ivy Tech emails, or you can upload them into Hire Ivy, and we are pretty consistent about reviewing those within a 24-hour period. And we can work with you on that for sure. And we can also always set up a virtual one-on-one to go over it together. Whatever works for you. We know we're pretty flexible in all styles of learning and communicating.
That's what I was going to ask, if we could do something virtual, because I've worked with you before on my resume and stuff, but cover letters are a little harder for me.
Right. Yep. Anything that you need. I'm just really excited to have somebody, a partner in crime now, because I was trying to do all the things and it was really hard. As some of you may know, getting back to you. But now that we have kind of our own silos, our own columns that kind of cross over a little bit, you're guaranteed basically to get prompt, relevant care when it comes to IT careering.
I wanted to just kind of dovetail over what you were saying, Jessica, about, maybe finding jobs that are a little bit outside of, your area of interest. You mentioned, tier one support. I came from a healthcare background before I was a coach, and we would, interview people for various jobs. And the thing that we were interested in, I was working in big hospitals, and it's working in healthcare is just a whole different beast. And so what we were looking for is really people who had any experience in the healthcare realm. So, I remember interviewing people who, volunteered at a hospital, doing a variety of things, maybe not necessarily related to what they were interested in doing. But what it told me was that they had a passion for the industry, and that when they came in, they weren't going to be like a fish out of water. They would kind of already understand, how a hospital works, how an office within a hospital works. And it just really, showed that, they were kind of doing what they needed to do to get that experience. And so that always impressed me a lot as an interviewer, people who were willing to just get any kind of experience in healthcare. And I really think that it translates to IT as well.
Right. And I know a lot of people do not want to do help desk, but because that's like the fast food industry of IT, the rate of acceleration or getting it into a management position is far outweighs other IT industry entry-level positions because people fall out so frequently. If you can maintain like 8 months to 12 months in an IT help desk tier one position, you are almost guaranteed to be either promoted or at the very least, you'll have those skills that can be transferred into your actual passion within IT, network security, software development, any of those things. So I just want to give you that bug in your ear. Just think about it.
And
I know you don't like to talk to people.
Talk about in the interview. We talk about transferable skills a lot, and dealing with people on the phone, having people call in and having to do problem solving for those folks. You talk about your problem solving abilities, your customer service skills that you gain from those jobs. You're just really looking for something to put on your resume, something to talk about in an interview.
All right, and I already got one resume from one of you, so thank you for that. We'll be I'll be looking at that this afternoon and giving you some feedback. If any of you have any issues with Hire Ivy, please let me know as well. As our career development model is moving as a college into this whole like career coaching, career experiences model, there's going to be a lot more dependency on Hire Ivy as your platform. So we want you to get comfortable in there. It's got so much information for you, and there's so many ways you can utilize it. So continue to work with me to give us feedback on any and all things, and we are listening. We want to know what we can do for you to make your experience here better at Ivy Tech. Okay?
I have a question.
Of course.
So if you volunteering like the different organization that doesn't like related with your major, is that work experience?
It can, yes. We're talking about transferable skills when you're talking about that. Not only, you could be doing a soup kitchen and, maybe making meals for 500 people every week. What does that show to an employer? That you care about community, that you are willing to give of your time and your resources to make the world a better place. It's customer service, it's working on teams, it's making sure that you're following protocols, especially when you're, messing with food. So these are all the things that an IT employer will see and be like, wow, this is a great, well-rounded candidate that's going to be a great part of our team.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll stay on for the next 10 minutes if you want to hang back and ask any questions or, just have a discussion. But otherwise, feel free to get out of here if you want to. You got a little extra 10 minutes. But otherwise, thank you so much for joining us today. And I look forward to working with you this upcoming semester. Okay.
Thank you for your time and all your help.
Oh yeah, no problem, Penelope. You have a great day.
All right, you too. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Thank you guys for your help.
Of
Have a
course.
good day.
Anytime. You too. And Salif, I'll look at your resume as well, okay?
Okay. Thank you. Have a great day. Thank you
too.
for your
Bye,
time.
guys.
Bye.
Bye. Honey. Bye.
I'm going to hop on the arriving queue and look at some resumes.
Okay.
Resumes.
And then there were 2 left. Ooh. Oh, wow.
Now it's just you.
This is a one-on-one session. I was
2-on-1.
2-on-1. This is
coach
I
and-
get. Oh man, this is great. I get 8 minutes of your time now.
Yes.
So my name is Jeffrey Gerber.
Yes.
After high school, I had a year of not knowing what the heck I wanted to do. And then I decided
Of
like
course.
I have a passion for computers and stuff like that. And like I'm really thinking I'm going the right thing now, but I had a year where I was stuck. And I am really unsure with a lot of the job stuff because my dad has been self-employed the last 30 years and my mom has never worked. So I can't really go to them
Right.
for advice like that.
Right.
And especially with the job market as stupid as it is right now, and it's going to get stupider. And the last time job market's been like this has been in about 12 years.
Yes.
And this is a great time for me to be entering the workforce.
Yes.
The reason I came here is because like I know I need to get experience and stuff, and I'm in the basically the help desk certification thing right now, IT's technical certificate support.
Is that your
And-
program of study right now? Is
Yeah,
IT support?
and I'm thinking
Okay.
I'm going to push it to an associate's because I think better education will help me a lot more in the long run. Saying I don't have a job right now. I'm living with my parents. They're disabled, and I just help them out.
Yeah.
It's
So
I
you're
scratch your back, you scratch my back type
yeah,
of thing.
you're in a lucky position to be able to, not only take care of your family, but also not have to worry about rent and bills and stuff, right?
But it's also awful for me because I am a very
Oh,
lazy person if I don't have something to drive for. So I've done really
Okay.
nothing during the whole COVID time. Like every time I try, I just don't really get the drive because I don't have, like you understand. It's just
Yeah.
it's difficult.
and
So
these are things that you can't be taught. You have to like learn them for yourself. That drive, that push, that motivation. So I mean, we have several tools that we can provide you on kind of building that that muscle of being self-driven and self-taught and like motivated. I mean, I'm almost 40 and I still struggle with it. So it's definitely something that we can at least help you formulate a plan to start attacking if that's something that you would like.
yeah, so I thought like volunteering or internships that would be helpful, but like the creme de la crop one, the piece de resistance, the VSF.
Yes.
Is that likely? Like it's like in total, if you applied like 3 things, that's like at most 10 open spots over the whole country.
It is, but they also do a really crappy job of promoting it.
Also
So it really, I think there's huge potential there.
Because I think that would look good on your resume no matter what. It's like I worked for the United States government.
Yeah, no matter, yeah, right. And you might want to look at the ones that are more focused on customer service, IT support, things like that, because a lot of those 4-year college students, they think that I'm not trying to dog on them, but they think they're above that. They're going to school for computer science and informatics and software development. They want to do those things. They want to do machine learning and all the bells and whistles, creating their own tab. I don't even know. I can't even go there. But so I do see that even here locally in Indiana, a lot of the internships that are centered around IT support have a lower application number than software development internships.
Okay,
So
that's actually
especially if
good
you're
to hear.
getting if you're getting your A+ certificate, that's really going to help you get some of those entry level positions as well.
Okay, so I like, as I've been like getting more and more information, I've been feeling a lot more confident now. But then all the COVID stuff happening, it's like, oh man, I'm really gonna have to go above and beyond to make myself look, because it's all these experienced people now are gonna be like, yeah, I've been working for 10 years in IT. I can do your crappy help desk position because there's no more other jobs.
Right. But you leverage that because you are green. You don't have 10, 15 years of somebody else's company's policies and procedures to strip away and build back up again. So a lot of employers, especially looking for entry-level IT folks, they see that as a positive.
Okay.
So it's just, I mean, it really is about building your personal brand and not just relying on your education. So whatever you can do outside of school, like volunteering, like setting up, trying to code your own game, even like whatever your passion is, figure out a way to create a tangible to showcase to an employer, because that shows resilience and grit and tenacity and a passion. I love those words so much today, but it shows a real passion for what you're trying to get into, and that can speak volumes compared to a 4-year college student who's just like, yeah, I am graduating next year with a degree in computer science and has nothing to show for it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, completely unrelated question. So I talked to some lady in Fort Wayne. She helped me out making my resume, but she dropped your
Okay.
name about like your Salesforce internship in the fall, and you didn't mention anything about that. So is that not a thing anymore, or what?
We do a completely different presentation on that. So Salesforce comes in usually the last week of August and does an entire presentation on that. And it's not really an internship, it's a training program that's free for our students. And I'm waiting to hear back from them now, actually. I usually schedule it for the first Tuesday that the semester starts. So I think that's August 26th this year. But they'll give you like the complete rundown of it. It's basically, there are cohorts that run every semester. They try to get 75 to 100 people involved. It's not just from Ivy Tech, it's also veterans and students from 1150 as well. And what it is basically a self-paced 8-week class, which you can do on your own anytime, by the way, through their Trailhead training system. And I can give you that information if you'd like. Learning either about Salesforce administration or Salesforce development. And then about after the 8 weeks are up, they schedule during break, either fall break, winter break, or spring break, they schedule a 40-hour week where you physically go down to the Salesforce building and you work and train hands-on with Salesforce professionals, and you get some business training as well with Deloitte.
Okay, so what is the likelihood of me being able to enter that?
What semester are you in right now? Your first one?
I'm in my second semester kind of now, entering it, because I started fall last year, but it was like the last 8 weeks.
Right. So how many credit hours do you have completed right now?
I think about 18.
18? Okay. You have a good chance of at least being interviewed for it. And the thing is that you can apply once, and if you don't get it, you can apply for the next cohort until they think that you are prepared for it. They basically are just looking, especially for the administrator, they're just looking for a baseline understanding of technology and a real passion for the platform, Salesforce. So basically, the reason why they are doing this program is because all of their clients, the businesses that use Salesforce, they need administrators and developers to customize the platform for their business specifically. So it's not for you to work directly for Salesforce, but for their clients. Does that make sense?
And the more people who know how to use the program, the more people use the program.
Right. And Salesforce uses that as a selling point to businesses like, hey, we have this this huge training program and we're spitting out 75 Salesforce admins every, 10 weeks, and one of them can be yours,
Mm-hmm.
So it's a pretty cool business model, I think. And definitely, Salesforce is the #1 customer management platform, software as a service out there. There's room, to go anywhere with that knowledge. It's pretty awesome.
Okay.
I'm not trying to say, get out of Indiana, because we want people to stay in Indiana. But if you have the drive and the dream to be in California or Florida or Texas or international, in the future, Salesforce is a great place to start. We also have a working relationship with Infosys, which is one of the largest international consulting IT agencies in the world. And Genesis, like I was speaking about earlier, that they're trying to hire more of our students. So Infosys has a junior associate technician that only applies to students that have graduated with an associate's degree. So if you do complete your associate's degree, they will interview you for that position.
Okay.
Yeah, they've promised the state of Indiana they would hire 2,500 IT professionals by 2023. I don't even think they're halfway there.
That's good to know.
Yeah. And they have been on a hiring freeze since COVID, and I think they're going to start hiring again, hopefully next month, and we'll see how the second wave of COVID affects the economy. But at least you can finish up your degree at Ivy Tech, volunteer, internships, all that stuff. And then when it does come time to get an actual, your first job, you'll have all that experience under your belt.
So do you think like that's my best, because I'm in a good position to live with my parents for at least the next year or two, that I should just kind of hunker down and focus on myself more and be ready to jump out in the better job market instead of trying to make it in this one?
Right. I think you also need to be well aware of, there's going to be risks that you'll want to take, and being able to kind of just stay in touch with yourself. Like maybe a job opens up and it's not necessarily what you want to do, but it's in a company that you want to work for eventually. That could be a potential for you as well. Because a lot of people would rather hire internally than externally. So even if you wanted to work for Salesforce proper, but they didn't have any IT positions open, but they had an administrative assistant or a business consultant or something that you were qualified for, go for it, because you'll learn the company, and then in a year or two, when you're done with your degree, you'll be able to say, hey, look, I got this degree, now can I do the IT stuff?
Okay.
But yeah, because you are kind of in a safe space right now, you have, your basic needs met. I would say, especially for the next 6 to 8 months, kind of hunker down and really focus on getting all your skills, focus on your skills gap and getting that training completed and practice the stuff that you need to practice.
Thank you very much, ma'am. You've alleviated a lot of my fears and stress a lot more.
That's what we're here for. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you, but I also think that there's a lot of potential here too. So you just have to be patient and put the work in, and it'll all pay off, and in the long run. So feel free to drop me an email anytime, and if you want to have a one-on-one about anything, just let me know. Okay.
So you actually I always knew this, like Jessica Jagger girl always sent me emails every week, but I didn't know if you were like real or just like Ascension AI program, and like you would actually check emails.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's cool. It's because the name's so awesome, isn't it?
It
Thank my
sounds
husband
like
for that.
like it just sounded like the program, like, I am your assistant, Jessica Jagger. This is our...
Nope, I'm a real person. Ooh. And I'm here patiently waiting to get back in person so I can be with my people, but I'm at least here digitally, okay?
But yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. I
No
really
problem.
appreciate it. If you
Yep.
can send me an email of some of the resources you were talking about, I would
Yep,
really
I will do.
appreciate that.
I will do.
And have a fantastic day.
You too. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday.
Ooh,
All right, bye.
bye.